Hey y'all, welcome back. So I wanted to jump on here and share my story on how I left a very, very toxic relationship. The Lord had laid this on my heart um, September 25th, 2022. So I'm going to make this kind of short too. So, because if not, I'll be, yeah. So, I had met my son's father. He had just got released from prison, and we ended up dating. And I ended up finding out that he was married. He was married. And remind you guys, this was way back in 2006. So this is before, I started this journey with Christ. I've always been a believer. However, I didn't have a personal, intimate relationship with the Lord. So this was all before. But anywho, I found out he was married. I ended up staying with him because at that time, like, my feelings was already involved. I was already, like, in love with him and whatever else. And so I ended up moving from one city to the next city to be closer to him so that he could be with me. And I'm sure some of you guys know how that goes. So as we moved forward in this relationship, things started to change. The once nice man that I met and whatnots, and the guy that I met, he had changed from that person to someone else, and the relationship became very abusive, mentally, physically, emotionally. It became very it became a very draining, tiring relationship, scary relationship, because I didn't know when he would flip out. I didn't know, I couldn't look at no one or nothing else. I had to keep my head straight ahead, and that was it. It was a mess, y'all. It was a mess. And so I ended up having a kid by him. And the relationship just got worse and worse and worse. And so it came to a point where, it was verbally abusive, it was mentally abusive, it was physical abuse, there was emotional abuse. Everything that you could think of, like, far as abuse wise, it seemed like it was there. And I don't know how I stayed around for as long as I did, but I stayed around, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but this particular day, I decided enough was enough, and I didn't want to deal with it no more. Oh, that's what happened. So, this was in my going out days, okay? So I was at a bar and whatever nots, and it turned violent. And we ended up getting into a physical altercation outside this bar. And that night I thought I was going to lose my life. Like, I thought that I was going to die. And remind you guys, he is a big man. He was, like 6'5", and I'm only like 5'7", and he was a little, husky or whatnot. And so we had the physical altercation at the bar. That led to me wanting to call the police that night. However, I did not. I did not, you guys. But the next day, I woke up and I had this pain in my leg, and I ended up going to the hospital. They said I had fractured my fibula or something like that. I don't remember. And of course, at that time, I could have, pressed charges on him and whatever not. But I didn't. And from that point on, I knew like that we were not going to be together, because the physical abuse never got to this extent to where like now it's like I'm getting broken and fractured body parts and whatnot. Like, no, that's not going to work. So I dealt with them for a little bit longer, and then something ended up happening. Something happened to where I was just like, enough is enough. Like, I cannot do it anymore. I don't want it anymore. I don't want to love him anymore. I don't want to be in love with him anymore. And like for 7 years, I could not find my way. I could not find a way to get away from him. I could not leave him. I could not leave him on my own strength. Like, I could not do it. And so one night I was just like done. Like, I was done. And I remember falling to my knees in my living room, and I just threw my hands up and I cried, and I was like, Lord, take this love that I have for this man away. I don't want to love him no more. I don't want to be in love with him anymore. And from that point on, you guys, when I meant what I said with my heart, and I guess it was time, it was God's time. It was, it was God's timing as well, because I believe that, God doesn't bring bad things to us. However, he allows us to go through things that Satan may have brought our way for his glory. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you guys. So, when I woke up the next morning after praying and crying, it was like I woke up and like all the love, everything that was causing me to be in love with him, like vanished. Like, it was no more us. Like, and I'm telling you guys, I could not shake it. I could not do it on my own. So I know it was the Lord. I know it was the Lord, because I couldn't do it on my own. And I tell people this story all the time when they tell me like, oh, I just can't leave him, or I'm so tired and I don't know what to do and I don't know how to leave him, and this, that, and the third. And I tell them that story. Like, you know how I was able to let go of a 7-year relationship that like I thought, like, you guys, I was like totally in love with this man. Okay, like I told you guys he was married, and it didn't even like matter. And I am the type of person that I would never date any man that was married. So if I would have knew that he was married before he approached me, it would have never happened. However, he lied about it, and I didn't find out until down the line, after I was already in love, my feelings was already involved, and whatever else. Like, from that day, me and him have not been in a relationship. It has not, like, I was really able to let go. Like, there was no more contact. Like, it was no more contact. Like all, like everything that I really felt, like all, like whatever, like I said, whatever was causing me to be in love with this man, it was gone by the next morning. It was gone by the next morning. I never looked back. And he has tried to, say little things or whatnot to try to get me to come back to him. And I have no desire in my heart at all. Like, y'all, that was one of the craziest relationships that I was in. And remind you, I've been in a lot of toxic relationships. And a lot of those toxic relationships came because I didn't consult God first. I didn't go to my Heavenly Father and ask him, like, God, is this person for me? Is this who you have for me? Is this who is going to be my husband? Like, is this the person that I'm going to marry? Like, is this the person that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life? Like, Lord, is he for me? I didn't go and ask no questions. I didn't ask no questions. So, the enemy comes as an angel of light, and he makes everything seem good, and then all hell breaks loose. And it seemed like it was like, I remember, like, he's done proposed to me and everything, and I was just like, no. Like, I really thought in the beginning that we were going to be married one day, like, until I found out he was married. And I even still thought we were going to be married one day, because he was talking about divorcing his wife and all this stuff. Like, it was just a mess. Like, it was a mess. But I hope that my story can inspire, encourage someone else out there that may be going through some type of toxic relationship and you just don't know how to let it go. Drop to your knees, sis. Drop to your knees and ask God to take the love, to take it all away. Anything that's keeping you to be in love. I'm not saying don't love this person, like, because I love everybody, but I'm not in love with you anymore. Like, drop to your knees and let God do what only God can do. He will remove whatever is trying to keep you there, whatever the enemy is trying to put in your ear, trying to whatever the enemy is trying to do to deceive you into thinking that there's no way out, or this person is going to change, or whatever the case may be. Drop to your knees and give it to God and ask God to take the love that you have away for this man. Take the love that you have for this man away. I'm telling you guys, it works. Like, it works. And it's been about 10 years. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's been 9 to 10 years since I left this man. And I'm telling you guys, I could never have done it on my own. So I give all the glory to my Father in heaven. I know I was probably a little bit all over the place. I'm not good with freestyling, but the Lord wants me to work on that. And what I mean by freestyling is like just trying to tell my story or explain things to people without writing it in my handy notes. You guys always see me with my notes on my phone when I'm reading a word from the Lord or whatever. So that's why, another reason why I do it, because if I don't, I'll be all over the place. I won't stay on track. And yeah, so I pray that this word blesses you guys. Please like, share, consider becoming a part of the family. May the Lord bless you. May he keep you. May he let his face shine upon you. May he be gracious to you. May he show you favor and give you peace. Until next time, you guys stay blessed and shalom.